Love, light, and blessings. This is Shamanic Awak Priestess here, and I'm gonna make a VR video. Um, I first saw this tag on Amethyst Ascension's channel, and she linked the original video to her description box. And so that's how I found this new channel that I just subscribed to, The Woodland Hag, and I watched the original VR as well as Amethyst Ascension's VR. I haven't watched any other ones, and I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of very behind on my subscriptions of watching channels and things like that due to work obligations, and I was also sick. I'm recovering and things like that, so I plan to catch up on videos as soon as I can, but I'm a little behind with videos right now, okay? And I have a lot of work to do this month, and a lot of spiritual retreats and things like that, because Halloween is a very big holiday in my practice, but also in my culture, because my practice is based on culture. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Shamanic Awak Priestess, and I'm going to be doing the Season of the Witch 11 Questions a Witch's Way. So without further ado, I'm going to start this tag because I wanted to participate in the 31 October tag that you get like a keyword and you make a video about it, but that I just can't with my spiritual obligations, my restrictions, and my schedule and things like that. Like I just would not have time to do it. So I figured this was a nice compromise. So there's 11 questions. The first question is, in what way, witch, pagan, wise woman, etc., do you choose to identify yourself with, and why? So I am not a pagan. I don't identify as a pagan or a Wiccan or anything like that. If there's a label that I could use to describe myself, pretty much I am a voodoo sant. You know, I am a voodoo sant. I am a practitioner of Haitian voodoo. I'm also someone who serves not just the Loa, but the Orishas as well. So I am a santera. I have lower initiations into that. And I'm also a shaman because I do have a Native American ancestry, and I do practice Taino spirituality and ancestral veneration. So I'm also a shaman, an ordained minister, and I'm also someone who was baptized into, initiated into, whatever term you want to use, into Espiritismo. Okay, so I have a lot of paths that I've been initiated to, studying and things like that. But if I was to use, oh, and I also practice hoodoo. But if I use one word to describe all these paths, I am a root worker who follows African traditional religious practices. I am a root worker, a bruja, a witch, okay? So I have, my practice is based on my mixed culture because I am a mixed race person. I have African descent, Portuguese descent, and Native descent, okay? What does my daily practice look like? So, witchcraft, brujeria, my African traditional religious practices influence every aspect of my life. As a mother, as a woman, as just a human being, because I'm teaching my children because they're all interested in this path, and to them these spirits are real spirits. They are ancestors. In my culture we have a very big thing with ancestral veneration that happens all year round, not just on Halloween, and things like that. And my spirits have their own room that they live in, and they pretty much roam around my house. And I've been someone who has always been able to communicate with the other side without using tools, a natural psychic medium, if you will. And I've always seen spirits my whole life, and entities and things like that. Even though I did other fields and have other careers, have a college education and things like that, about, it's gonna be now 7 years, I've dedicated, I've been practicing for a while because I have like 15, 16 years I've been actually practicing the craft. But 7 years ago, I went professional Worked on an online site, and then about 2 years ago, branched off into my own private practice. So I assist clients with psychic readings, angel readings, spiritual investigations. I perform exorcisms, so I have taken out demonic forces on people, intrusive spirits. I have um, I have done haunted houses investigations, remove entities and intrusive entities, whether it's from a person or a home. So I have seen a lot of things and things like that. So I am an exorcist in my own right. I haven't assisted with that, and I've seen it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I've seen the very, 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 I'm going to say the word, evil side to witchcraft, because not everybody who practices witchcraft is a good person. Just like whatever religious or whatever spiritual practice, you're not going to always have good people in whatever path you do follow. So I've seen it all. So this is the way that I sustain my family, because I do charge for my services. But this is also my life calling. This is what I've dedicated my life to, and I've been very blessed because the spirits have provided for me financially and my children through these gifts that I have. And so pretty much it's in everything that I do, because if I'm not studying, if I'm not teaching students, if I'm not writing about things, if I'm not journaling, if I'm not reading for myself, if I'm not reading for clients, if I'm not reading for family members, if I'm not casting a spell for myself, if I'm not casting a spell for my client, I'm casting something. Like, there's always spell work, there's always some form of divination. I talk to the spirits 6 days a week. Sunday is the day of rest, but 6 days a week I am communing and talking to my spirits in my altars. Even if I'm not doing any workings, I'm still talking to them. They have their days of honor and veneration, and I make sure that I'm giving my offerings, I'm giving my prayers, I'm giving my time. So it's in everything that we do. I pray before I eat. I do rituals for my children. I do rituals for my clients. I do rituals for myself. So witchcraft is in everything that I do, even in the most mundane things, is in everything that I do. Even when I cook for my family, but I also cook for the spirits. When I shop for my family, and I shop for my spirits. The spirits in my court and in my life are family. They just happen to be spirits that, and even if they're not blood family, they're family. They're part of my spiritual family. And even though they're not in the physical living world, they are living energies. They are people. They are real. And then they are in everything that I do, and things like that. What do I do for self-care? So self-care has been something that I've struggled with a lot, because being that I do so many things for everybody else, sometimes I forget to do things for myself. And I've really made it a thing, especially in these last 2 or 3 years, where I spiritually take care of myself too. Because it got to the point where I was taking care of everybody else and manifesting what they wanted. But then I wasn't happy with my own self. So I'm like, I have these gifts. Why am I not using them to help myself? Isn't that part of the craft? So I've been really manifesting things for myself and loving how those things are coming to fruition. I've been trying to be healthier. As of August of this year, I've been walking my daughter to school, and it's a pretty long distance. In the beginning, I could barely make it without getting asthma and winded, and just really realizing how out of shape I was, and still am. And now I've actually noticed today, ooh, I'm shaving some minutes off my walk, and I'm actually getting there, and I'm not winded, and I'm not tired, and I'm ready to go. And that's been really good bonding for us, and really good for me health-wise. I'm going to make better food choices in the future. That is something that I'm trying to work on, but it's a struggle. I have been someone who's yo-yo dieted. I used to be a very small person when I first got married, before I had children. I was 121 pounds, and no matter what I used to eat, I was always tiny. And then after my first daughter, I was still like, I gained weight, but I was still on the smaller spectrum. I was like a size 8 in women's, which is pretty reasonable. And then after I had my son, because when I was pregnant with him, I was still between a size 6 and 8. I have pictures of people like, oh, I didn't even know you were pregnant. I was like 5 months pregnant with my second child. And then I went to like a 10, which is like, was still good. And not that anything is bad. I'm just saying I was started getting thicker, but I wasn't like as overweight as I am now. And then I lost weight, gained weight back. Then after my third child was when I started to struggle with my weight. I got older, my metabolism slowed down. I developed a really bad eating disorder because I ended up losing all the weight and getting back down to a size 6. I went from a size 14 to a size 6 in the matter of like 2 months. And I was starving myself, weighing myself 3 times a day, eating less than 1,000 calories, and I got so sick that I got a heart attack. And I developed high blood pressure and all these horrible things and on all these medications. But in the outside, I looked gorgeous, and to people like, oh, can't believe you have 3 kids. Yes, looking good and all this stuff. But inside, I was killing myself. And so I decided, I have a thyroid problem. So even when I don't eat a lot, I still gain weight. I just decided to accept the fact that I am a plus size person. I am a size 16 now. I am over 200 pounds. I would say it again, honey, over 200 pounds, 221 pounds. Yes, I said it. The scale is no longer my oppressor. I am no longer threatened by the number on the scale, because if I know that I'm eating the best food and I'm trying to get physically fit, I'm going to start incorporating working out. I'm not trying to be small on the scale. I'm just going to work out and make better food choices. If weight happens to fall off because of that, that's nice and everything. But even if I stay and don't lose another pound, but I'm physically healthy, which the crazy thing is, once I gain all the weight back, I don't have high blood pressure. I don't have heart problems anymore. Like, I'm actually really healthy. Like, the doctors are surprised that someone who's obese like me, they're like, you're healthier than some people that are way smaller than you. Because it's not about what you look in the inside, it's outside, it's what is actually going on inside of you. So I went from not eating to also binge eating to taking control of my eating habits. But again, I'm not on a diet. I think the best thing with self-care is just making better choices and accepting my body for what it is. It was like 2 years ago, I believe, when I first made this channel, I finally wore a bathing suit to the pool and I strutted my stuff. And I thought I was hot, and just finding clothes that accommodate to my body and just understanding that I may never be 121 pounds. I may never be under a 2-digit number pant size. And you know what? That's okay. Because beauty comes in all different shapes and sizes. As long as you're happy with yourself, it doesn't matter what the scale says. It doesn't matter what anybody says. So I'm pretty much owning the fact that I am a big woman. And those words don't hurt me anymore. And not being a slave to the scale and letting a number on the scale define who I am. And I think that's the best self-care, because I feel like loving yourself and accepting yourself, of course, always trying to be healthy and make good choices, right? But also accepting yourself for who you are. You don't have to be what anybody else tells you to be. You are beautiful in your own right. Number 4, what do I do to take care of nature, wildlife, the environment, and animals? So what do I do to take care of nature, wildlife, the environment, and animals? Well, I've been trying to reduce my impact on Mother Nature. I am not perfect. So I only try to download haul videos if I feel like it's going to benefit other people, because I do buy things and I don't record them, every little thing that I buy or whatever. But if I can help somebody save money, I do that kind of stuff. I also try to repurpose my jars that candles come in, and either use them to hold my herbs, or use them for candle holders, or storage or something like that. So I try to reuse my glass jars and containers. I've been recycling my plastic bags from the stores. Walmart has this really cool recycling program where I live, where they recycle your bags from whatever store it is, and they reuse it. So they're making bags, new bags out of old bags. So I love that idea. But I think I'm gonna take it a step further and possibly buy the reusable bags and kind of switch out to those, and things like that. I don't buy teas like that come in boxes because of the pollution that the you can recycle the box itself, but like the tea bags are not really biodegradable. There's plastic in a lot of the packaging and things like that. So I make my own teas. So I buy loose herbs. I make my own mixes. I make my own teas and my own blends and things like that. And that is something that has really resonated with me. And I have a psychic tea that I created. The spirits gave me recipes, and I keep them all in my herbal journal and things like that. So I use like the little metal where you put the herbs in, and I steep the tea and all that, and I like it better because it's like my own creations and things like that. I try not to buy too many herbs. I only buy the herbs that I use. I've reduced my the amount of crystals that I buy. I rarely buy crystals, and I try to research where I'm getting these crystals from because I don't want child labor or cruelty or harming to happen to the environment because of crystals. I pretty much just use what I got. I've been decluttering a lot, reducing the number of books that I buy. I'm reading what I have now. Don't know if I'm gonna buy any more books in the future. Pretty much got rid of like 3 boxes, got rid of a lot of decks, really not buying a lot of decks anymore. I have like one little area in my home where I can keep my decks. And physically I have 24. I have 2 on pre-order, so that's gonna bring my collection to 26. And there's one that I'm thinking of getting but not sure, and that might make it 27. But I'm trying to keep it under 30. So I'm not really wanting to because I'm afraid of the plastic, the packaging, the boxes they come in, and decks are made out of paper. So I'm really trying not to buy anything unless I'm called to it because I do worry about the impact that all these mass produced decks have to trees. The Amazon's getting chopped down all the time. And I don't want to create that, but I am not perfect in any way, and I'm really not trying to come off judgmental. This is just something that has come to realization for me. Just trying to reduce the amount of objects that I personally have, but I do have things, I do. If you walk in my spirit room, I do have things, but I'm just kind of feel like I have what I need. So I don't need to keep buying so much. I do buy a lot of candles because I use them for clients and things like that. Um, as far as animals, I do eat meat. I do try to eat sustainable meat, cage-free meat. But we don't eat a lot of meat, so I'm not eating meat 7 days a week here. We do eat meatless days in this family. One piece of meat. We don't eat we eat more carbs than meat, and things like that. So, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Like eat less meat, so less animals get killed and less pollution for the environment. I tried to get sustainable vegetation as well, less pesticides. Pesticides is messing up the environment. Also, not trying to eat too many fruits either or vegetables, so just what we need. Because before I used to just go rotten in my refrigerator. And believe it or not, the overuse of vegetables, the earth could only sustain so much vegetation. There are people from all over the world that are doing very unscrupulous things, and also over farming of fruits and vegetables that are out of season are causing a lot of harm to the Amazon. If you would like to know where I'm getting this information, I would be gladly to cite this information and share it with you. But my eyes have been opened. Over farming, even of vegetation, even if you are not eating meat, if you're eating fruits like almonds and things like that that are out of season, that is causing also really bad environmental impact in the Amazon rainforest. Indigenous people are being displaced and killed and things like that. So I think me eating less is going to help with that too. Kind of just being more wary of what I'm eating has been something I've been recently working on so I can have less impact in the environment and on animals themselves. Number 5, how do I help heal or support human or humanity? Well, the services that I provide, I use my gifts to help people by giving them psychic readings, mentoring people. I'm doing mentorship courses in December 2nd. The winter is going to start, and then I might do a second session in the spring. I'm going to see if I'm going to do that or not. Right now, 80% yes, 20% unsure. Also, I, besides taking on students and doing psychic readings or mentoring or life coaching through tarot or doing spiritual investigation, telling people what spirits they have in their court. I do rituals, I do spell work. I use the gift of the shamanism, the shaman that I am. I am a healer, so I do spiritual healings. I do root work and spell work and workings and things like that for clients to help them manifest the things that they want, and things like that. So I feel that I am helping humanity through my spiritual gifts, being the intercessor between them and the spirits and the spirit realm. Okay, how do I help heal or support? Okay, I did that one, sorry. Number 7, what is the most important life lesson I have learned so far? That you never stop learning. I'm constantly learning different things in this spiritual path. All the things that I thought were true have rung to be untrue, that my path is ever evolving and changing. I have also learned, and I think that's the most important thing, to be my authentic self. I feel that in the beginning, I was trying to accommodate to what's popular, whatever popular culture, whatever popular spiritual practices. And now I feel like my practice is really authentic to who I am. It is an honoring of my culture. I'm not afraid to talk about taboo subjects anymore. And I'm just being myself. And it seems to be resonating with so many people that I never thought it would. So that's the lesson that I learned, to be myself. And it has made my channel grow, has made my followers grow. It has made my business grow. And it has made me grow spiritually. It's made me a happier person, which makes my kids happier people. That I decided to talk about uncomfortable things and just continuing to be my authentic self. Even if that creates backlash or controversy, it's still who I am, and I don't want to suppress who I am anymore. Number 8, how does this learned lesson affect your values and attitudes? Well, the way that this learned lesson affects my attitude and value is that, again, I am being my authentic self. I am living by my values and my attitude, which is I don't have to accommodate or assimilate to the popular culture. I don't have to be what everybody thinks that I need to be. I don't have to get or physically have the things. For instance, I was collecting decks after a while to collect decks because I was like, oh, I have to have a certain amount of decks in order to be a valid reader. When I was reading professionally for years, for like 2 years with just one deck. And then after the 3rd year, I started getting a couple of tarot decks, but it was a very controlled collection. And now that I've actually given away, sold, and got rid of so many decks, because at one time I had like over 60 something decks, and that may not be a lot to a lot of people, but it was taking up a lot of space. I have a very small house, and there's 5 of us that live here, and I was starting to feel clustered with the decks, with books and books and books that I was never going to read, and having more things than I feel that I needed. And I'm the type of person that less is more to me. So I pretty much, not that I'm judging anybody else who has various things or whatever, because if that's what makes you happy and that resonates with you, that's perfectly fine. That's between you and spirit and yourself. It's a personal choice. But for me personally, having under 30 decks, having a more controlled collection of crystals, which my collection has never gotten too out of hand with crystals, honestly, but with books, it did. I had over 100 and something books. For what reason? And now I have all my books in 2 shelves in my spirit room that I actually read, and they speak to me. And things that don't have anything to do with my practice or no longer speak to me, I've gotten rid of. And I'm a happier person for it, because I've learned to not only be myself, but things don't define who I am. It doesn't make me a better reader, a less reader. I had to find whatever it was that I was missing within myself, that I was trying to fill it up with things. And I've done that with food. I've done that with tags. I've done that with so many things, just trying to fill this void. Because if I'm being honest, I didn't never for a long time. And even when I was what ideal beauty standards, I never loved me. And I think that's why when my marriage got abusive, I took so long to leave a physically and mentally abusive situation. And now I can be friends with my ex because he got the help that he needed and he's not that person anymore. And I could say I forgave him for it, you know? But I tell people all the time, I'm a happy single person. You know, I got out of my first marriage. I broke up with the guy that I was with, that I was engaged to, and it's not because they were bad people. I've gotten 4 beautiful children out of my relationships, but I was being in a relationship for the wrong reasons, and this is why I feel that I can life coach people, because I felt like somebody had to define who I was. I was codependent. I've learned to be by myself in these last 3 years and just really love myself and say, hey, I can be by myself. I can do all these nice things for myself. I respect and validate marriage and relationships, but I also validate and respect people that choose to be single. I choose to be single. Um, I have decided to start dating for fun, nothing serious, you know, um, and things like that. And I'm going to be honest, it's probably not going to be one person. I'm just kind of seeing what's out there, living my best life, you know, doing my little thing. But I feel like self love is also saying I can be by myself because I feel that the relationships I'm in or have been in have not been the most mentally healthy. And I don't need another person to define who I am. And if I ever do get into a relationship, I feel like I have the skills that I need to do that. But it's not something that is a priority in my life. My spirituality, the spirits, my children, you guys, friends, and family, I'm pretty good right now. So, and this is why I feel like, yes, I can help with love because I've been a wife, I've been a fiance, I've had very long relationships. My marriage lasted over 15 years. My last relationship was over 6 years. So I've been in long-term relationships. I just don't think that that's something that's right for me. I like my independence. I think that we all like our own things. I like being by myself, to be honest, and being independent. And the kind of job that I have where I have to travel in various parts of the world to do exorcism and spiritual services and things does not always allow me to have a traditional relationship. So if the spirits do grant that person, they're going to have to be very independent because I'm not around a lot. So, and to me, the spirits come first and my kids come first. So, and me. So, okay. Number 9, what is your most spooky experience? So my most spooky experience is too many to name. I am an exorcist by trade. I am someone who's a psychic medium, so I talk to the spirits. My whole practice, I serve loas and orishas and family ancestors and familiar spirits in my family. So I'm ancestral veneration is everything in my life. So deities to me are real and they are everything. They are real living beings. They're not archetypes to me. They're not beautiful pictures in a deck of cards. They're not a statue. I have seen these spirits as I see people in flesh and blood. I see, I smell, I hear. They literally talk to me. Directly and things like that. So I don't see any of that as spooky. I don't see that as scary. I have actually seen malicious spirits physically hurt people. They have physically hurt me when they possess people. I take on spirits and I've been told I've done some crazy things that physically I cannot do if I didn't have a spirit inside of me. So I have passed on, I have been possessed by loas and orishas. That's a big part of African traditional religious practices, which is possession. I'm not going to get into much detail about that because those are kind of closed secrets because I am from traditional religious practices that are closed traditions, so can't share too much of that. But yes, I've had spirits speak through me languages that I don't know how to speak, dead languages and things like that. Actually, during one of the rituals, because when I get possessed, I don't remember. This woman told me that I was speaking in the Zulu language. I was speaking in Arabic. I was speaking in Portuguese. I was speaking in French Creole. Like I was speaking, cause like there was so many spirits that kept taking me. People thought I was gonna die that day, cause I got physically sick like the next day. Cause you know taking on so many energies is very strong. And she said she was even scared because I physically did something that scientifically cannot be explained. Um, so yeah, I've seen people climb trees without using their arms. I've seen people eat things that could kill somebody. Like I've seen things, okay, and I've been told I've done things. So I don't know if it's a cultural thing, but nothing spooks me out. I've seen demons. I've seen malicious spirits. I see dead people. Like that doesn't scare me. Like that to me is like normal life. So yeah, and I've seen interdimensional beings and that kind of situation. So yeah. Number 10, would I or have I ever cracked somebody? Let's just say I work both hands. I work the right and the left. I practice traditional with craft, so I don't follow do no harm. That does not resonate with me. I say it all the time. And I know how to curse and heal and hacks or whatever. And if I have to do it, I'm gonna do it. I don't really care. So, but however, if I ever did curse or hack somebody, you would never know. Because guess what? Part of hexing a person is not telling them that you did it, so that way they don't find somebody to break the spell. But let's just say that when it comes to spirituality, I have a whole different moral compass because at the end of the day, I'm going to get whatever my clients want by any means possible. And I don't believe in karma. I don't believe in the threefold laws. I don't believe it comes back to you. I don't believe in any of that. That is not a Haitian voodoo way of thinking. So things like that. I believe in God, but I also believe in the devil. I believe in good spirits. I believe in bad spirits. I believe in demons. Not the way that people will call demons like demons. Because I know some people use demons like they're like spirits that Abrahamic religions deem demons. No, I'm not talking about that. When I use the term demon, I'm talking about spirits that are just malicious and want to hurt people. Not like what religious groups say, oh, that's a demon because it's outside of Jesus or whatever. No, 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 no. Because I believe in the mysteries and I believe in different extensions of Creator. I believe that there's one God and Creator is neither male nor female. God is in all of us and represents all of us. And I believe that God created other spiritual entities, okay? People that were either living beings and then became on spirits and then came to be spirit guides in various different traditions. It happens to be in mine's Odishas, Loas, and the native spirits that I serve. And then there's some entities that have never been alive. And I believe that there's malicious. There is just like there's people that are evil and malicious and just want to hurt people, and there's something wrong with them. Their spirits are the same way that they literally live off the energy of fear, so they'll appear to you in a disgusting way and literally feed off that energy. Okay, those are real things. Sleep paralysis is real. Okay, these things are real. I have seen some things that pretty much will let you not sleep at night. There's nothing that movies have shown on television that I haven't seen. So let's just put it that way. So if someone is an evil person and is hurting people and there's no redeeming quality, I am not opposed to cursing or cursing them, whether it's for myself or a client. And I don't believe in any type of karmic repercussions for that because I call it, instead of hexing and cursing, justified practices or workings. If you deserve it, you're going to get it. If you look back at the Bible, there are psalms that are literal curses. So God was not opposed to, even in the Bible, cursing people. And yes, I use the Bible in my practice because in the ATRs, the Bible, Catholic prayers and things like that, Catholicism is a very big part of the African traditional religions of the Caribbean and the African diaspora. I cannot say it's the same thing in Africa. Africa is a whole different tradition. But as far as Haitian voodoo and Santeria and hoodoo, Bible is very important. It is a book of spells and grimoires. So there's a lot of hexing and blessings even in those pages. So yeah, pretty much. Number 11, if I could live anywhere, where would it be? If I could live anywhere in the world, I would live in the Caribbean. Why? Because our spirits were actual living beings, especially in the case of the Loas. Um, I would love to walk through the lands where the Tainos lived, um, and serve the spirits in those oceans. There's nothing like the Caribbean to me. I've lived in the United States because my family's here and I don't have that much family left over there anymore. But my biggest dream is to build a house, buy land, and live and breathe the air of my Taino ancestors, of my African ancestors, looking at the blue sky, growing my own food, being able to have clients come to me and travel and me do things for them, and just living in my own little isolated Caribbean paradise. And that will probably be when all my children are grown and married and doing their thing, and I'm an older crone woman just living the last days of my life, spiritually helping and mentoring, and eventually passing on my secrets so that these traditions don't die out. These traditions live through oral passing down, and I am going to do that, and I will do that because I want African traditional religions to survive, to remain intact to those that are called to do it. So I think that will be all for my answers to these questions. Much love, much light, much blessings. Hopefully the audio's better in this video and you guys enjoyed my video. I have a new camera that I'm recording on, so hopefully the sound is better. So anyways, much love, light, and blessing. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Until the next video. Bye.